We've made it midweek and we are still employed. We've got Manchester City on the road at the Emirates, and we're going to run into a couple of old friends. We'll get ourselves to that part of the conversation in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 113 of Bottom to the Top. I am Mr. Cellophane, and you may be wondering, why is Erling Haaland on our screen? No, we did not sign the 34-year-old gigantic Norwegian man with the scoring prowess of, well, I don't even know what kind of analogy to give there. No, Erling Haaland has some damaged cruciate ligaments, and he has been out since the beginning of November, which means he will not be here to terrorize us because he has done a ton of damage against Nick Bottom-managed teams over the years. So very glad not to have him here. That really hasn't stopped Manchester City, though, from rising up the table. They were last time we took them on. Behind us, we have stayed stagnant in 14th place, of course. We'll see how we got there in just a minute. Another league matchup against Brighton that we need to cover. But Man City currently sitting in 4th place on 39 points. Now, we do have 2 games in hand on them, and frankly, most of the league, except for Brighton, West Brom, and Brentford behind us, number of teams on 22 matches, but quite a few have played 23 already. 28 points through 21 matches, 8, 4, and 9, with a +7 goal difference. Now, we are closer in 14th place to Europe in 7th, only 9 points behind Chelsea, than we are to the drop. We are 10 points ahead of West Brom. Now, those old friends I was talking about, we managed to offload Yusuf Ahamada. The board didn't like him. The fans didn't like him. He was ticking me off. Didn't really do a lot for us as well. If you remember a couple episodes ago, the board made us promise that we were going to drop him. So we dropped him all the way to the only team that would take him, which was Manchester City. But he's not the only one. William Saliba is also playing for the team in Sky Blue at the Etihad. We got $15.5 million for him. $64 million, by the way, for Ahamada. Now, if you remember, Saliba had a €40 million offer that we had accepted way back in the summer transfer window from a team in Saudi Arabia. I believe it was Al Ittihad, that he ultimately rejected and did not come to contract terms with. By the time we were able to send him out, his value had dropped dramatically. $15.5 million, the only amount we could get from the only team that would give it to us, and that was Manchester City. They did try to make it the trifecta and get Bukayo Saka from us as well, the 33-year-old Nigerian-English dual national. While he's been all right for us, he's got 6 goals in all competitions, added 5 assists, and he is still one of our better players at the age of 33. We were considering moving him on, getting something rather than nothing when his contract expires in the summer, but because it was Manchester City that was offering us the money, we'd given them enough, including a right winger, to be perfectly fair. So Saka remains here at the Emirates, at least for now. Not a ton of time has elapsed since we beat Brighton in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. We did meet them again a couple of days later, once again at the Emirates, and with the heavy rain, there was not a ton that we could really get going. They actually got very lucky, as you see, 13-1 your shots on goal, but 1-1 your final score. David scored with 2 minutes gone in added time in the first half off of a questionable turnover, a very lethal counterattack for them. We just could not get anything going until Jorginho had gotten sent off in added time in the second half, and then we took advantage 4 minutes into stoppage time. Jonathan Reyes able to even things up, and we escaped with a point, even in a match that we absolutely 100% dominated our opposition, which is what we absolutely did at home in our third round FA Cup replay against Colchester. Haoudi picking up his first goal of the year to get things started. It was late in the first half, but that really just opened the floodgates. Florian Wirtz from range, adding one. I believe that was his 6th goal of the year. I think he had another one later in this match as well. Nice play forward to Bukayo Saka, who puts it on the left foot inside the far post to make it 3-0. Very shortly thereafter, an almost identical play. Bukayo Saka this time to Reyes, who hits the post, gets his own rebound, and pots it home for goal number 11 on the season in all competitions. And Florian Wirtz completed his brace from the penalty spot. 5-0 Arsenal over Colchester. We're heading to the 4th round. We're going to be taking on Huddersfield Town, which should be another fairly easy tilt. If you ask me, Huddersfield are currently sitting 16th in the championship. So another team well below us. We've got Manchester City on the road again without Erling Haaland. Then we're taking on AEK in our penultimate league phase matchup in the Champions League. Then Monaco is coming after that. We got Huddersfield kind of tucked in there in the middle. Nice little palate cleanser for the weekend. Abasha and Beje Hoon are still out representing their countries in the Asia Cup, so they are completely unavailable for this match. We are going to be making some changes. We've obviously been playing, as it seems to be the case, a ton of football. Dixon Docris will get the start and goal. Alan and Jose Antonio Larrea will be our fullbacks, with Butera and Pedro Iglesias in the middle now that William Saliba is officially off of the team. Declan Rice will be at the base of the midfield behind Akili Kleis and Florian Wirtz. Bukayo Saka once again as our left winger. Jonathan Reyes once again on the right-hand side. And, of course, once again in the middle is Martin Fernandez. Before we get into the match, we did make a signing. Michael Silveira, a 19-year-old Uruguayan striker slash right winger. Could potentially play on left. He has a very strong left foot. So I guess if he played on the right, would be more of an inside type of guy. Tons of potential for the future. We paid a total with incentives of 7 million euros to Nacional for him. He is on the bench for this match. The reason being is we had brought Manuel Diaz back from loan. He is an excellent young 19-year-old Paraguayan right winger we had out on loan to St. Gallen. He was having such a good season. We're like, we could probably use you here, especially if we end up offloading Bukayo Saka. He has a virus and he is out for this match. So he couldn't suit up, so Silveira is getting the call. Of course, who needs Erling Haaland when you have Evan Ferguson in his prime leading your line if you are Manchester City? A win here today can actually, for the first time in a long time, move us up the Premier League table. We've kind of been holding rather steady. Fernandez taking the ball away from Phil Foden. Fernandez, though, will lose it to Geddes. Santos for Fernandez. Lareo will step in. Alan nodding it down to nobody except for Rooney Bargi. And this is the 3rd or 4th time this season that we have made a colossal error and a turnover in our own box, which has led to an early goal for the opposition on the road. Dixon Dockrace going out trying to cut the angle down was unsuccessful, and Rooney Bargi puts Man City up ahead. Can we claw back? I sure hope so. Bukayo Saka, corner, headed away by Foden. Kleis will track it down, will play it up for Saka, but Geddes is going to step in front of that one, and Man City on the counterattack. Bukayo Saka, with all that speed, somehow can't seem to catch up because Football Manager, Phil Foden, has it knocked in his way. Wharton over to Rooney, dropping it back. Andre Santos. Santos carrying deep along the byline, playing it for Fabio. Fabio toward the line again. Santos, Geddes, Foden shoots, misses. Saka will head it into the chest of his goalkeeper, and Dockrace is going to calm things down. But it has been a very long time that Arsenal has been sitting in 14th place on this table, and it looks like that may continue. Florian Wirtz overtaken by Phil Foden, laying it back to Costa. Saliba has it. He's starting for Man City in this match. Back Over to a left to Vardiol, Andre Santos. Vardiol once again. Man City enjoying the possession in this match, although it's still pretty close, but it is leaning towards Manchester City. Geddes in the middle. Ferguson can't get it on. Iglesias needs Larrea's help to clear that one out into touch. It'll be a Man City throw, and early on in this match, they are all over us. And really, that mistake deep in our own zone leading to the Rooney Bargy goal is the difference so far. Ferguson makes a turn, shoots on, and misses wide. Dockress diving for it. Can't catch up. We are in the yellow jerseys, which are like the kiss of death for us, apparently. Wirtz overtaken by Peterson. Foden moves past one man. Declan Rice sweeps it away, and they call a penalty. Of course they did. Anytime we make a good defensive play, it must be a foul, isn't it? Dockress on his line. Peterson will take it for City. Dockress guessed correctly, but could not catch up to it. Jesper Peterson with his 6th goal of the season. And why did we come back for this match? I knew it was going to be a kick in the teeth. 40th minute, Geddes with the final third throw-in. Foden to Wharton, back to Foden. In the middle, Jesper Peterson. Quick fire double, 3-0, Man City. We look awful. And why do we look awful? We literally have been playing so very well. Our form has been tremendous, and it takes over 45 minutes in the first half for us to even get our first shot on goal, and it was so bad it not only wasn't on target, it did not register on the XG scale. We have made a few changes at the half. Thomas Kempshaw coming in for Butera. Silvera to make his debut on the right wing, replacing Jonathan Reyes. And Macias is coming in for Achille Kleiss. Are the changes going to make a difference? Well, we'll find out. Wirtz for Larrea. Silvera with it. His first touch that we've seen in the highlight. Up the sideline. Still in possession. Playing it back for Declan Rice. Pivoting it up for Macias. Macias taking it deep. In. Shooting. And it's going to go wide. Did that clatter off a defender? It does not appear to have. So, goal kick for Man City. Even with the loss, we're still in 14th, but an embarrassing loss this will be. Manchester City seeming to keep us bottled up in that midfield. So we are going to go into an attacking stance to see if maybe we can advance the ball a little bit more in possession. Phil Foden, Fabio for Ruben Dias, who has come in for Saliba. Wharton, right wing side. Potteruth throwing it in the middle. Ferguson chips it home. His 5th goal of the year. Jeet Potteruth with the assist. Was Ferguson offside? Please say he was. Thank you very much. Keeping it a 3-0 ball game with 15 minutes left. We do not need to see the highlight. 3 shots on goal, none of them on target, but a final third throw in. Saka in for Rice. Back for Silvera, chipping it towards Saka, who is overtaken by Wharton. We just cannot maintain possession of this ball. Manchester City all over us. However, we have gotten it back, partly in thanks to Bukayo Saka, realizing he needed to step his game up. Thomas Kempshaw in the middle. Alan for Fernandez. Circling around to his left. Bukayo Saka with it now. Feeding Macias. Macias into the box. Has a man in the middle. It's Fernandez. Shot is saved by the keeper. Diogo Costa making a fantastic save on a very high percentage shot for Arsenal. Additional substitutions. Saka coming off for Martinelli. Fernandez will be replaced by Mateo Moreno, and that's all we can do. Florian Wirtz, I wanted to bring him off because he was a little tired, lacking a bit of belief, but you only get 5. Phil Foden on the corner, back post, almost fully cleared away, not exactly, headed on. Dockress missed it. Luckily, it hit the post, And that will end the match blissfully. 15-4 shots on goal in favor of Man City. It was the mistake that led to the Rooney Bargy goal that opened the floodgates. Jesper Petersen scoring twice in 2 minutes, including a 38th minute penalty to give Manchester City the commanding victory and to just suck the life out of my body. We have done a couple of other pieces of business. Wanted to get him more playing time, a little bit more first-team exposure. We have loaned out to Biso Bad Boy, the 21-year-old South African international, is in Ligue 1 right now on loan at Toulouse. So far, just the one appearance for them. He has scored a goal and was named man of the match, so hopefully this spell with them is going to be a good one. We did it because he needed more playing time, and frankly, we're actually making money on the deal, and we get the player back at the end of the season. Same thing with Rudy Galvez. We wanted to get the 19-year-old more playing time, so he is off on loan at Bristol City. And one final development move, the 20-year-old Englishman Miles Bichette is off on loan to Salford City. Meanwhile, we did complete a signing of the player that could very well become the next Declan Rice. Defensive midfielder, 18-year-old Croatian international, has already capped twice at the age of 18 for his country. Kale Kozlaric. He is very good physically, stands 6'1". Could be a little bit faster, but good passing. His tackling is pretty good. Nice technique. He's good with the first touch. The mentals are really good. Decision making is absolutely fantastic. He's brave. He's a team player. Good personality. He's versatile. He can play anywhere basically up the spine of the field. Not quite ready for the Premier League right now, although he might get some playing time. He's not really ready to be a Premier League regular, but very soon, absolutely. We just need to put that out of our mind because we are hosting AEK Athens at the Emirates in our 7th match out of 8 in the league phase of the Champions League. We're going to make a couple of changes. Only a couple of days have passed. We are now midweek. Docris will remain in goal. Alan's going to stay on the left wing-back position. Nymark is going to come in on the right side. Butera and Hernandez will make up the rest of our back four. Martin Odegaard is coming back into the team as our defensive midfielder behind Macias and Florian Wirtz. Gabriel Martinelli is going to get the start on the left wing. We are sitting Bukayo Saka. Mateo Moreno will be up the middle, and Manuel Diaz, who we just talked about a minute ago, will be getting the start on the right wing. Kale Kozlaric is on the bench. He came really close to starting, the 18-year-old Croatian that we just brought into the team, but we thought better of it, let him get acclimated to his surroundings just a little bit, and maybe we'll bring him on later in the match, seeing as how we are doing. We are a perfect 6 out of 6 in the Champions League so far this year and sitting on top of the table. A win here today will guarantee us a spot in the round of 16, bypassing that knockout playoff. Can we do it? Now that I've said it out loud, probably not. Hopefully, though, we can. We've won on the road. We've won at home. In fact, we won all 4 of our road matches. We just have home tilts remaining in Europe so far this year. Well, obviously, until we get to the round of 16, where it's double-legged, so you're always playing at home and on the road. Wirtz for Diaz, moving it inside, gets past one man, gets past another, takes it in, and scores his first goal of the year. And this was what Manuel Diaz was doing at St. Gallen. He was just scoring goals. He already was in double digits throughout the first half of the season. We're like, we need to get this guy back in England, back at the Emirates. And Diaz, in his debut, well, he may have come in off the bench before. In his first ever start for Arsenal, at least since we've been here, he scores his first goal of the season for the Gunners. Hernandez in control. Will get it back from Dixon Docris. Hernandez again looking, surveying upfield. Finds Florian Wirtz. Almost overtaken. Has Diaz. Good ball work in the middle. Macias. Martinelli with it. Martinelli sending it forward. Moreno, was he onside? No, he was not. It was a good save by Christensen one way or the other. But unfortunately, offside the call. A free kick coming for AEK. Butera regaining control. Macias finds Martinelli. carrying it up the left wing, again, trying to move it with his feet, and he does so successfully. In the middle, Moreno heading it into the ground, and there's the first goal of the year for Matteo Moreno. And Gabriel Martinelli picking up an assist. Now, Martinelli, we are still trying to find a new home for. At €1,000,000 per week, he is very expensive for very little output. That assist there is only one of a few goal contributions that we have managed to get from him so far this season, but he has helped put Arsenal up 2-0 at home in front of 59,240 against AEK Athens, who came into this one in 29th and out of the playoff picture in the Champions League. It's been all Arsenal in the first 45, all 5 shots of the match, 65% possession, and most importantly, 2 goals to 0. And since, we pretty much have this game in hand already, even though it is only 2 goals to 0, why not bring in your brand new 18-year-old for the second half? So that is what we have done. Kozularic is in there at the base of the midfield, replacing Martin Odegaard. Hernandez in control of the ball, circling it back to the left. He's got Butera. We are pinning them back. A very low defensive line, so we're going to take advantage of this middle third. Hernandez for Nymark once again. Nymark moving the ball to the left. He's got Alan up ahead. Macias feeding it through. Moreno is in, and his shot gets past Christensen, but unfortunately on the wrong side of that post, and it goes out for a goal kick. Letty turns it over. Moreno gaining control again, carrying it forward. He has some help. He's got Diaz moving it to his left before he starts to carry it deep toward the byline, chipping it far post. Martinelli heads it on, and Christensen has great positioning on that one, able to make a very easy save. We have played just about 54 minutes of this match, and it has thus far remained all Arsenal, 2-0 on your scoreboard. Kozularic giving it back for Hernandez, flipped up for Florian Wirtz, back for Kozularic, who is working as that midfield pivot. Wirtz feeding it ahead. Moreno in, shoots, scores. His second of the season, his second of the night. Matteo Moreno with a pair of goals, and it's Arsenal 3, AEK 0. Kozularic getting it started, but Florian Wirtz is going to be the one delivering this beautiful through ball right into the path of Matteo Moreno, who beats Christensen for his second goal of the match. 8 shots for Arsenal so far, 5 of them on target. AEK has not gotten one yet. Short kick. Martinelli, Diaz firing, cannot keep that below the bar. It's going to go out for a goal kick. Through 7 matches, Arsenal remains at the top of the table, 21 points. Barcelona on 18 points in second place. Lazio in third with 17, because 9th place is on 12 points right now after 7 matches in the form of Benfica or Milan, depending on what the goal difference looks like at that point. We are guaranteed a spot in the round of 16, and that's really all we wanted. Macias will come out for Aziz Haoudi. Florian Wirtz will make way for Achille Kleiss with 5 minutes remaining in the match. Get some fresh legs out there. Barcelona destroying Midtjylland 7-0 in this one. Guerrero sending it forward. Almost an opportunity, but Moreno is able to clear it. Tahirovic sending it deep. Bieri keeping it in. Guerrero moving it into the box, taking it on his right foot, shooting, beating Docrace, but taking it wide off of the hands of the goalkeeper. So with 2 minutes or so of added time in this second half, a corner kick for AEK as the rain begins to come down pretty hard here in London, and the header is not going to be kept down. Minute to go. Hernandez taking it off of the goal kick from Docrace, and he will take his time, feeding it to Nymark up the left side toward Diaz. Moreno with it. He's circled by 4 men, but he's only got 1 to beat. Moreno pushing it deeper, stops, turns, looks for Kleiss, taken down at the edge of the box by Guerrero. Is that going to be a penalty, however? It really depends on where Kleiss was positioned as he was knocked down. There is no doubt that there was a foul. Is it a penalty? It is not. Kleiss was just outside the box, so it will lead to a free kick in a rather dangerous position. Martinelli feeding for Kleiss, who cannot find Hernandez on the near post. Instead, Christensen will grab that out of the air and keep the Arsenal threat and the Arsenal lead at 3, which is where we end up. Diaz and the brace from Moreno. For Arsenal, nothing for AEK. They did manage 3 shots by the time the game was all said and done, but a perfect 7 for 7 in the Champions League, and we are moving on to the round of 16, even though we are still a bottom table Premier League side. See, the real problem is we keep having all of these fantastic games in matches that don't really count towards what's most important, which is not doing terrible in the Premier League. We've got a couple more of those coming up before tomorrow's episode. We've got Huddersfield in the 4th round of the FA Cup. That is huge, because if we're knocked out of the FA Cup, then the board's not going to like us for a whole nother reason. Then we've got Monaco at home to wrap up the league phase in the Champions League. We're probably going to rotate the squad there because it really doesn't matter what we do. We've got away matches, though, in the league against Everton and then Brighton in the second leg of the semifinal of the Carabao Cup, and that is where we are coming back tomorrow. Thank you for all of the likes, all of the views, and if you have not already subscribed, please do so now. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.